Uh-huh. Well, I'm sorry that after lunch, I hope you will not fall asleep. This is bad time and easier for you to go to sleep. I think most of you have probably heard of King Bhumiphol, our late King Rama the Ninth. We just had him cremated last month on the 26th of October. That he passed away about 1 year ago. And he is our great king because he introduced and created about 4,000 projects for the whole country. And today I will talk about King Bhumiphol's sufficient economy and Aristotle's happiness and self-sufficient for our sustainable future. Which I feel that it becomes very important for the whole world, not only in Thailand. Because as we can see that we are running out of many resources in the world right now. Why sufficiency economy of King Bhumiphol and Aristotle's idea are important? First, we have to find out what is a sufficiency economy philosophy is, and what is Aristotle's philosophy. And as we can say that in the ecology problem that we are having now, we cannot find the future for our next generation very well. For all, we are using everything, using up everything, the natural environment, everything has been in bad shape. So what can be the obstacle and how to overcome the problems we are bringing to bring the ideas into practice? I think many times we talk about great ideas, but how to bring into practice, that is most important. And what if the ideas of self-sufficient economy doesn't work? What will become of our future? So these are the things that we will deal with. And please, after you listen to my talk, if you have any questions or anything that you want to add, you're most welcome. So when we talk about self-sufficient economy, what is it? The problem is that the ecological problem that we had long time ago, since the book Limit to Growth was published since the year 1971. This book has been reading in most of the college, and many students has been under that problem. Yes. Right. Thank you. Okay, right, thank you. So, the ecology problem. We know the problem of the growing economy of the whole world. Faster, better, everything they invented. So, we are using up everything. The natural environment, the trees, water, air. And if you can see that we do not have any pure water anymore. Your country is exceptional. Japan used to have fresh water because the people here are very clean. They know how to control the environment very well, except for the sad story about Fukushima. Yes, thank you. And this is an environment problem. How about the human condition? We are having more of the insane society. Many, as we mentioned here, the suicide, homicide in most of the countries. Thailand is no exception. Because people no longer have self-satisfaction due to their own greediness and unhappiness. And I think that this ought to do with the problem of the whole structure of the society. So what is self-sufficient economy? Sufficient, according to Bhumiphol, means moderation. What is moderation? Well, if you go to America, you walk a few steps and you find a lot of fat people, overweight people, because they don't have the ideas of moderation. We also have no idea of moderation of what is poverty and what is rich and what is luxury. What is beyond that? But we always think the more the better. No less is good. Unlike the Schumacher, one small is beautiful. Not many people talk about that anymore. We want more and more and more. So, what is reasonable? One cannot find anything reasonable without introspection into oneself. So, how can you answer the question, what is reason? What is a good reason for your life, when you never find the answer? And lastly, self-immunity. Especially in this age, you have all the advertisement. Since you open your eyes in a computer, you have all kinds of propagandas in everywhere. So how can we protect oneself from internal and external challenge around us? So we hope that to understand the theory of sufficient economy is to be able to realize how to save ourselves from all these conditions. And more than that, everybody in the society have to be aware of this understanding also. Public officials, academics, business people, and medias, I think is the most important factors in all levels in the society to be understand and adhere the principle of honesty and integrity of this. So, self-sufficient economy, self-sufficient philosophy should be the way of life, and also moderation, the middle path. And to follow the middle path, it means to have the wisdom to understand and cope with the change in this economics, environment, and culture in this century. Moderation, reasonableness, self-immunity are the necessary with knowledge. Ethical values, patience, perseverance, and diligence. These are all necessary for us to survive. So when we ask what is moderation, the king said, being moderate must not mean being too strictly frugal. Consumption of luxury items is permitted, but should be moderate according to one's means. It doesn't mean that when you are poor, you use luxury goods, but the rich can enjoy the luxury if they have the means to do so. It doesn't mean that you get it all. But how to know what is moderate to your life, to your own self. So it depends again on one's own judgment, according to the knowledge, condition, and values one can have. So what is reasonableness? The choice one made by using knowledge, approaches, legal principles, moral values, and social norms. So it's all related, oneself to all this surrounding. Each individual able to cope and adapt with all the changes in the society and the world. Ability to recover from all ills and hardship in life. So, when you understand what is the becoming of us at the moment. For example, at my university, we have to teach the humanities to understand what is the root of all what of now. You study the Greeks, the medieval until the modern time in order to understand why we are here the way we are. So it means that to understand all this, give us insight what we will become in the future. To understand, to gain insight and access, to engage in development, which means we have to harmonize with the national geographic landscape, and that relates to all the geo-ecology, economics, culture and tradition in order to serve all the citizens, not only the Thai citizen. So this is what is necessary and reasonableness. So knowledge comes into play no matter what. And the third, the self-immunity. How can you create such a self-immunity? How can you emphasize the need of building in resilience against the risk which arise from internal and external changes? Immunity to change in circumstances. You got to have enough saving, insure against financial risk, long-term future plan. Okay, this is due to the monetary aspect. Second, immunity to social change. You got to create unity among the people and with contentment and peace. But during the end of the reign of King Rama the Ninth, you probably heard that the uprising of the red and the yellow, the difference between the two groups, and they fight against each other while the king was in the hospital. It become the rich and the poor, and the gap between the two cannot be solved easily. So this is a change economically and social upheaval. Committed to environmental change. Be aware of the impact that they have upon the environment, their livelihood, and their awareness to live in harmony with nature. This is something that you have to teach to children when they were young, how to live with nature, how to be part of nature itself. And right now we have no natural tree, no nothing. We have only concrete forest, especially in Bangkok. So you hardly understand what is nature, what is how to be with nature. Immunity to culture change, to appreciate the value of culture and heritage and have a positive attitude towards culture of others. In other words, this self-immunity is in all directions of our life that we have to live with it and learn and understand it. So knowledge, ethics and values are important role for successful plan. Knowledge is the key. As I said, without knowledge, how can you understand anything? The knowledge leads you to learn how to act and how to approach the planning and the implementation of the whole process. Ethics and values are also vital force for human development to be successful and sustainable to all sectors has to be understood, as I said. All direction in the society, civil servants, intellectual, business people, media, as I said before, very important. Now, through his words, he said, the development of the country must proceed in stages. First of all, there must be a foundation with the majority of people having enough to live on by using method and equipment which are economical economical, but in technical are correct as well. When such a secure foundation is adequate and ready, then it can be gradually expanded and developed to raise prosperity and economic standard to higher level by stages. This is an ideal that the king gave. But if you look into the rural Thai school somewhere, children cannot go to school because the brother go today and the next day the sister go, because they don't have enough socks, not enough shoes, not enough dress to wear to go to school. This is a real poverty case in our country, and it still exists. Not talk about books, nor food, nor anything. Some big museums in Bangkok still have the problem with distributing food equally to all. So, sufficient economy to reduce economic vulnerability to the poor, a mean towards community empowerment. So the king tried to introduce how can you get rid of poverty, okay, and how to improve the standard of public administration, good governance. How can you create such? How can you create an immune country against all the shocks, especially better policy, better strategy, and in every way? Sufficient thinking demands a transformation of human values and revolution in the midst of the advance and human development. So this is, to understand the philosophy is very important. And right now Thailand is in the process of 11th Economics and Social Development Plan. From the 8th Development Plan 1997 to 2001, Thailand will confront economic crisis. Sufficient economy becomes a guiding light. The 9th one means to improve the equality of the life to the principle of moderation. The 9th, the 10th, stress on social harmony and sustainable coexistence of Thai culture and natural resources and the environment. And then 11, people at the center of development and balanced development in all aspects. So it means that the Thai people learn from one step, two step, and then to this step. But it doesn't mean that everybody understands it truly. And yet, it's in the plan of the nation. Now, if we compare the king's self-sufficient economy and Aristotle's life of contemplation, I understand that you mostly probably acquaintance with Aristotle more than King Bhumiphol. Aristotle was an ancient Greek thinker who introduced the life of contemplation because he asked a question that, what is a good life? And there are three kinds of life that he introduced. First, the life of pleasure. Second, the life of power or political life. And then lastly is the life of contemplation. And if you want to ask, what is a good life? You can ask yourself also, what is a good life for yourself? The life of Aristotle, according to him, most of the people turn out to be a pleasurable life. You know, we love to go to movies, we love to enjoy all kinds of things, all food, everything. Hardly know what is the life of contemplation. Yeah. So I know that some people start to fall asleep, you know. But anyway, this is after meditating. Yeah, I'm glad that you say meditation. Being static is very bad. You know, staying in one place and not moving is bad. Yeah, but to sit in one place is bad also. You know, we should move around also. Okay. Now, when Aristotle said that contemplative life is not pleasure or political, to contemplate means what? It means that you continue on the activity that has been very useful for your mind, for your body, mostly of the mind. It means anything that you can do with yourself. Contemplation is the activity that you can do with yourself, means self-sufficiency. So it means that happiness depends on ourselves, not depends on anything else. Because all of us can create our own happiness. This is according to Aristotle, Nicomachean Ethics. The activity that one is loved to do for its own sake, by oneself and being self-sufficient, is a happy life. That which is always desirable in itself and never for the sake of something else. This kind of thing you may not understand. What is when you desirable for the sake of doing it, not for anything else? I think at this point in the world right now, it's very difficult fun to answer. What is the thing that we can do for the sake of doing it, not for anything else? We come back to this question later on. Maybe come to some kind of a discussion later on. So, the definition of happiness for Aristotle then is the function of man is to live a certain kind of life, and this activity implies a rational principle, and the function of a good man is the good and noble performance of this, and if any action as well. It is performed in accordance with appropriate excellence. If this is the case, then happiness turns out to be an activity of the soul in accordance to virtue. Right now we never talk about soul, we never talk about virtue. And to ask ourselves what kind of action that we do when we do it accordingly to the soul and virtue. So, the question is, the philosophy of the two between the king and Aristotle. If we try to analyze these two philosophies, the problem of knowledge and virtue, this is the problem. How can one have a sense of moderation and reasonableness and able to have the sense of life immunity to protect oneself from all the changes in this fast-moving society and propagandas? In other words, how can we have self-satisfaction? And second, how to educate all sectors to have the awareness of the changes and prepare oneself to cope with the future. No question that after the king introduced the ideas of self-sufficiency, economy, philosophy, whatever, only few can understand his ideas. Otherwise, Thailand will not develop the way we are doing right now. For example, we use up a lot of forest. We have many ecology problems in our country, and the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. And the media never help us to understand or have the knowledge for the better of the people. Recently I've been have to be close to my sister. She has been ill and have to sit with her in front of a computer. Usually I don't watch television. And program in Thai television. How to sing to save yourself from being in debt. You use your singing to save yourself. They get more money to escape from being in debt. I said this is not a way to not to be in debt. You get the money from singing and then you become dead again. These are illogical. But we are overwhelmed by this kind of thing. And my friends, he said everybody in the house also do the same television, watch the same television. And this is happening all over the country. And besides, you can answer a certain question in order to get to a certain point, upgrade yourself by answering that question, some stupid question or some very intelligent one, who knows. But how to educate people, that is not the way to educate people. So, all sectors in the country didn't have to get into the knowledge of this kind of wisdom. Aristotle's life of contemplation, when he said the best kind of life, at the present is the most difficult one. As we are changing into literature age, and the age of always faster, always moving ahead. We never look into our own step, but always looking the next step. Like a model, iPhone 8, iPhone 10, everything, all in the change. The faster, the better. So, how can we come to the realization of the effect of life of contemplation and happiness has to go together? All in all, we would say that education is the key to be able to prepare the society for the change and see the change in the society through education. What kind of education can encourage man to have honesty and integrity? That is another question. How to encourage way of life based on patience, perseverance, diligence, and prudence? Can this be taught? Like Socrates asked, can moral be taught? Are we moral enough to teach anyone? Or we do what Professor Dario is doing, trying to all asking questions and getting the answer, so that the student can use their small selves thinking more. I think that probably is the best way. All this can be taught or see from example. This all depends on oneself and one's own karma. If we talk about karma, not karma, but what Professor said this morning, karma is one's own action. Yeah. How can we create ourselves for the better self? Self-action, self-reflection. These are the answer that we need. But the present stage, we always give away ourselves through our cell phone, our computer. We never look into, but we look outside all the time. You see? We have a hard time to reflect upon our own self, our own action. Yeah. Now the present stage in Thailand, 40 years that the king introduced self-sufficiency economy. Are we following it in moderation? But we are truly going to materialism society. We have more problems in society, social problems, more health problems, more crimes, more corruption, and unrest society. Not only that, we destroy our forests, we have flood and unbalanced environment everywhere. So you probably think Thailand is in great shape. Looking from the outside, it looks good, but within the country, we have our own problem. If we talk about the future of sustainable, I think what you are doing now is to have education. Knowledge is the most important thing. Knowledge and the awareness to protect oneself and the environment are necessary. But how many people are reading books anymore? You always read on your cell phone, your computer. The book is always somewhere else. The Limit to Growth, as I mentioned before, has been published for 40 years, but not many people read it. And most of the leading politicians hardly aware of it at all. The awareness of ecology problem, how to live in a balance with nature. The Chinese talk about it by through Taoist philosophy long time ago. The West also learned from the Chinese. The Indians also talk about many ideas on how to gain the enlightenment, but we never really learn how to live in this life for the better of ourselves. Ethical values, sensation, sense of moderation, self-sufficient are important roles for economy, social and environment. So these are, I just introduce you problems. You can help me to solve the problem. Okay? So, this is it. Any more comments? Please do. Any comments? So if you want to know exactly what Thailand is like, come to Thailand. Then you realize it. Maybe it's worse or better. Who knows? Professor, yes?
You were talking about that SEP, or sufficiency, economy, philosophy.
Yeah.
But I want to know how does it differ from what we call the sustainable economy?
Same.
Same. No?
Same,
Yeah.
same.
Your king is using a different
Right,
phrase.
exactly. Aspect. It's different words.
Then with regard to moderation, you said moderate according to one's means. That
Yeah.
means you
right.
want to say that poor should have their
Right.
own limitation.
Right. Yeah. According to one's own judgment. You know, what are you? If you have enough to buy a lot, you can, instead of being in debt, you use according to your own needs. Yeah. And your own means.
Your
Yeah,
needs.
right. Well, the king introduced to many farmers. If you have 10 rice of land, before the Thai farmers plant rice for 10 rice. And if they get a good price of rice, it's okay. But most of the time, the middleman get it.
Yeah.
And so he introduced, you divide 10 rice into 4 or 5 parts. One is to grow rice, another part to grow vegetable, grow fruits in rotation all year round. Now the farmers, they are happy if they can follow his ideas. And introduce also to the huge tribes who used to grow puppies, to sell all those LSD or whatever, marijuana. And then he introduced them to grow avocado, all kind of fruits that can grow up in the cold weather. Now they are better people. They don't have to sell those drugs in order to survive. So this is what he introduced to those. Now people just follow up. Right.
So your country being a Buddhist country, do you adopt any Buddhist economy in the framework or?
Well, if Thailand is a truly Buddhist country, Thailand will be much better off. But as you can see that we are too far materialistic. Yeah, Buddhism and the king probably saying the same thing. How to survive well, how to be happy. But we have like a rat race, like in the States, right now. You just follow up we have all the fast food, the Thais getting fatter and fatter, because of the junk food and the health declining, everything. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you asked that question. And we have so many stories of the declining of Buddhism, especially at the temples, who earn so much money and there are corruption in the temples. But I'm sure that there must be good temples, good monks, but none of it ever heard. You just only heard about sensational news, not any good news. Yeah. Right.
Now this question of mine is not directly related to what you said, but nuns are there in Thailand.
Nuns. We have nuns. Nuns who are ordained mostly to help the monks in the temples. Yeah. But right now we also have nuns, women monks
Yeah, women monks.
Bhikshuni,
Ah,
but
Bhikshuni.
they are not yet acceptable.
Ah.
My colleagues, especially, she once was my colleague and then she ordained. But right now she set up centers for girls, homeless girls or girls in trouble to be at her temple. So that's another kind of doing to help ladies in Thailand. Yeah.
I think throughout the globe, the bhikkhunis are not that much recognized or acceptable. No?
Right, exactly.
But
right.
during Buddha's time, the bhikkhunis were there, no?
Well, only the mothers of the Buddha.
Oh, that was she the
yes,
only.
he gave a law, certain law that if you want to become a nun, I mean a Buddhist, a monk, you have to follow so many, much more law than the real monk. And because he can see the wrongdoing of what happened if in the temple you have brought sex to the temples. And the Buddha is very wise in many ways. But so in Thailand we are Theravada, and the Theravada don't allow the bhikshuni in the sex. Except with the Taiwanese, if you want to ordain, you can go outside and ordain. Yeah. And you become outcast if you do it. Yeah. Any suggestions for our problems? Come to Thailand.
So do you find sustainable economy similar to some of your thinking?
Yes. You have question?
Yes, she does.
Please. I'm glad you wake up. Yes. Anyway. Yeah.
How do you educate to achieve your goal?
How do I educate to receive my goal? I just follow his step to think, to reflect upon oneself, to be able to understand things around us. I think to understand history, philosophy, literature, and the people around you, I think is the most important education that you can have. This morning we said we are thinking about how do you feel when you go to a certain place and it's in a certain condition. How do people look at you and how you change your perspective upon yourself. It's so interesting. Life is interesting that way. So I'm glad you are studying more in order to understand this. Yeah. Mishra, you have any question?
Yes, I have learned an interesting thing that is moderation. I would like to know about how can we implement this moderation successfully in our life. It's really urgent need for Bangladeshi people.
Yes. For example, talking figuratively in terms of bodily moderation. Yeah. Right now, people excess themselves in eating more. They don't stop when they are full. Yeah. And also exercise. Some are over exercise. Some have no exercise at all. Come back to what is moderation. What is good for ourselves? Have to go back to the same question. To look into yourself, to understand yourself. And that is the most difficult thing. Socrates tried to say that to the Greeks many years ago, but never followed him. Had Socrates stayed until now and look at the Greeks' economy, the Greeks way of life, he will die probably. He will turn into something else. Because even the time of Socrates himself, he has been committed to drink hemlock because of what he said for the people there. You know, when he said self-study, self-knowledge, nobody wants to do it. And especially in this time of the world right now, we always look outside, we never looking back inside. Yeah?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
So what about in Nigeria? What about sustainability? Do you have the idea in tradition of self-sustainability or limiting consumption?
Nigeria is consumed right now by the urban living. So
By what?
urban living. So everybody wants to move to the city.
Ah,
And everybody is currently in that stage where we're all thinking about ourselves. So sustainability is not yet in the picture.
yeah. When they think about ourselves, we always think what to have more,
Yes.
what to gain more materially.
Yes.
But never think ourselves in terms what is good for ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's I think is a problem for man at any age. Yeah. But it's good to see from someone from Nigeria. Professor Prisha, you came so late. That's why you never know what I'm asking about.
Can I ask about, for our Japanese friends, has the royal family got involved in sustainability efforts or programs in Japan? Like the king in Thailand? The royal family here doesn't make many statements on the environment, or they do? You're not aware? Because they could get involved. So as a royal, it's maybe and they can play an important part for public attitude change. But I'm not aware of any particular philosophy. But do you know anything? Nothing? In England, some of the royals get involved in these environmental movements.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions for Chutatip? So, you say knowledge and awareness to protect oneself, but should we have a concept of oneself when we're
Yeah.
talking about the sustainability?
Right.
Is there room for concepts of oneself,
Yeah.
or only
What is a
concepts?
self?
So
Yeah.
should we think of ourselves?
Sure, sure. In the self, in terms of a dynamic, part of the whole process, not the self as a self. What do you call?
Not too self-centered.
Yeah, self-centered, not the self-centered. Thank you. Yeah. To understand truly about oneself, it doesn't come easily. It's another subject that we have to talk about. That's why Dario asked me a question. We have to go through a certain kind of meditation to understand how the self process, in the process of change, in the process of never static in one place, always moving. The way the moment we breathe in and out, we are always changing. Yeah, the suffering of life and the part of the whole universe. Yeah, that is another subject. Yeah, but it's very important. In Nigeria, you don't have no such thing as self-knowledge in that way. What religion are you in, Muslim?
Christians and Muslims.
And you are Shinto. And you?
Chinese.
You're from China?
No, he's from China.
Yes, I'm sorry. You are Shinto. So I don't know. What religion are you? Excuse me.
I'm not ready.
You see? One sample of the modern man. Shinto? What religion are you? Buddhism? Yeah. What is Buddhism about you? What is Buddhism about you?
How does Buddhism affect you in a daily life?
You just don't be like a child in the registration. I'm a Buddhist. Yeah. But what about you? What Buddhist you are? Cannot answer.
Maybe Japanese.
Huh?
Japanese.
Japanese.
Yeah, that's Japanese.
Yeah.
Japanese.
Shinto?
In Japan, there are different kinds of Buddhism, like
Jain Buddhism, Tamil Buddhism. And you?
I can answer what is Buddhism.
Uh-huh. You can?
I cannot.
No, you can't, but you are Buddhist. You say, Buddhist is so free. You don't know what you are. She's
I'm Muslim.
yes, a good Muslim. Any question? Okay.
Thank you. So, education for all, I want to ask you, you can't leave yet. Education for all, to understand the concept and sense of happiness. So, how do we educate people to be happy?
Yeah, a good question. Like a philosopher asked. Well, I think it had to start from the very beginning. Even start from the womb of the mom. You know, many times we thought that the mom is not important. Mother is the most important for any upbringing children. The emotion of the mother always affect upon the baby. And just like Daryl, you have to learn how to bring the kids into nature, how to read, how to relate yourself to nature. Then you start to love nature itself. If you're so far away from nature, you not become part of nature. You can control everything. In fact, you can't control everything. You have to be part of it. To feel that the natural environment affect upon one's life. To be part of the natural nature itself. And besides, I think that the subjects that we've been teaching, we've been taught since we are very young, the history itself should be understood by meeting the people also. You know, when the Korean come to Japan and the Japanese go to Korea, they become friends. I think unity of the people or the whole world can start that way, to understanding from one to another, not from the nation. Or right now you can say that the United Nations or whatever, it just become a tiger paper. It's just in the names. It has no meaning toward the human race. It has to start from one-to-one relationship. I think that what Dario is trying to do, according to what Len says this morning, when you bring people from different countries together, they become friends. They have a certain subject to talk about. They know how to organize this and that for the whole world to be better. I think this has to start from this way. Yeah. Yes,
So I
please.
wanted to ask, in terms of reasonability and
Reason of
risk and moderation,
Uh-huh.
right? We live in a world today where maybe 30 years ago we didn't have phones and we could go out and come back. But if I lose my phone today, I'll probably have a heart attack, right?
Right.
So how do we manage? Because we have more and more coming, but we're not necessarily the happiest
Exactly.
generation. We're not necessarily the most satisfied
Yeah.
generation. So how do we combat it? Because we don't really have peace anymore.
Right. Wow, good question. I think you can answer that yourself. You know, the more we have, the less we are. Yeah? You feel we have nothing. Before, we don't have anything that we feel so rich. And now we have everything that we feel so poor. Now it depends on the mobile phone all the time. If you bring a phone anywhere and you miss the mobile phone, you don't exist, you know. I think one has to answer the question oneself. What is enough for one? You means you have to let go of things if you want to be truly happy. Letting go. What do you mean by letting go? How do you understand when I say letting go?
Well, letting go maybe living in a cave
No.
As long as there's email, there's Facebook, there's Twitter,
Right.
you will always see something that you think someone else has,
Exactly.
and then you are missing out.
Exactly. Exactly. So are we missing anything if we don't use all these things? Yeah. Huh? You yourself is still existing right there.
A trial of Jesus.
Huh? What do you say?
We have to try.
They have to try.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Many years ago, when I taught my students, one of my students said, "Oh, teacher, I will never have any telephone in my home. I want to know just now how it exists. But lost contact since then. Yeah, that's for passing as a phone. But if we let go things, are we happier? Are we richer? We have to answer this ourselves. What if you have nothing? You have nothing to lose. Like the cup of water, it's all filled up. When you put everything in the water and you cut it out, the water goes down, right? You are empty. But if you have the water and you have nothing inside, then you are just fine. You don't miss anything. But we have been categorized ourselves to surrounded by all this. It's in my dream once when I was a little girl. I read a lot of books by Laura Ingalls Wilder, the Wild Wild West, in the United States, just building up beautiful natural things. It's my home. My dream to have a home next to the river and then stay there happily. But now I have the choice to do so, but never do it. Dreaming and actuality is something different. Yeah. But in our life at the moment, when to answer your question, how to be self-sufficient yourself, first control your mind. If you don't have all those, you don't miss a thing. Keep yourself, the body strong. Well, you are still very young. You don't know what is the meaning of sickness. Because I'm pretty old, I know, and I'm surrounded by those sickness, So I learn how to protect myself by keeping myself fit, because you see all those sickness. But you probably surrounded by, youngster. You hardly know what it's like. So keep your mind still, keep your body strong, and be satisfied. If you don't lose anything, it's okay. If you lose it, it's okay too. Because we can survive without it since we were born, right? Just think about it. You're welcome. Any more questions? I hope by this time your lunch has been digested.
So how do I balance the sense of moderation with the sense of self-love that I need to study and develop myself as best as I can to serve humanity? Because if I'm moderate and say, okay, I don't study so hard, but if I want to do the best I can, I need to be more than moderate. So how does
when
moderation
you say you
go?
want to study, it's a contradiction. When you say you want to study the best I can, it means that you put your energy into studying. Like Daryl, this work always in front of him. He always try to do the best. And also, if you're a student, you try to do your best. Other thing else, you balance your body, keep exercise, not to be static, and then study the most, read the most, and then try to contribute the most to the society. Then you'll be happy. It means that this is a way how we can control life. Yeah. Not to go to parties, drinking, all this can damage your brain, Yeah. I don't know if I answer your question.
No, well, so then moderation, I actually want to do as much as I can. You say study, for example. So then I'm not moderate. I actually am an extreme because I want to do as much as I can.
Good question. So you have to decide what is best for one. Yeah.
For one or for everyone?
For oneself and for everybody at the same time. If what is not good for one, how can we know what is good for others? So it has to be related. Yeah. Uh-huh. And so learning about oneself, it helps to learn about others, how to be good to them also. Yeah. Because if you want to do something good for the others, but you don't know what is good for yourself, how can that be? So it all together. So as a student, I don't mind for you to study, but you need to have good exercise as well. That is important. Yeah. Right. Any more question? I don't know if I answered your question. Yeah. Any more questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.